Our world is a complicated one. It has a lot of different ideas about clothes, food, and music, and this also applies to making laws. Different cultural settings worldwide often lead to laws that are very different from one another. In other cases, laws make no sense and make you question why certain laws were ever introduced in the first place. Many of them are almost too unbelievable to be true. In this video, we look at some bizarre laws from around the world, figure out how they came to be, and think about what they mean. Number 12, it's illegal to fly a kite in Victoria, Australia. In Victoria, Australia, in southeast Melbourne, it is against the law to fly a kite in a public space if it bothers someone else. You can't even publicly play a game if it bothers others. The Summary Offences Act of 1966 says that you can fly a kite, so the Aussies probably won't mind if you do. Number 11. No selfies with Buddha in Sri Lanka. When you take a picture of yourself with Buddha, you are facing away from him. In Sri Lanka, this sign of disrespect is punishable by jail time. It's also rude to point your finger at Buddha. Sometimes you can't even take pictures with the statues. Even though it is not illegal to have a tattoo of Buddha, a British woman was jailed for 3 days in 2014 for having tattoos of a man who 70% of Sri Lankans believe is a prophet and an incarnation of the god Vishnu. Be polite and cover up your tattoos. Don't need more signs that say no photos, and don't turn your back on him. Number 10. In Singapore, it is against the law to chew gum. When idiots break the rules, we all have to pay the price. After vandals used gum to mess up the mass rapid transit system, and the Housing and Development Board spent $150,000 a year cleaning up gum litter, Singapore banned all gum products in 1992. Anyone who brings gum into Singapore, sells gum in Singapore, or makes gum in Singapore can be fined or jailed. The only exceptions are nicotine gum and dental gums that have therapeutic value. Stay caught in the street blowing bubbles. Number 9. In Victoria, Australia, you must be a licensed electrician to change a light bulb. Under Victorian law, changing a light bulb without a valid license was illegal. The fine for taking your light into your hands was $10 Australian. But this law was updated by a change to the 1998 Electricity Safety Act. A spokeswoman for Energy Safe Victoria said, "The Electricity Safety Act makes it illegal to do your electrical work without a license, but Order in Council G17 specifically exempts changing a light bulb and taking a plug out of a socket. If you need more clarification, it's better to leave it to the experts." Number 8. It's illegal to let your chickens cross the road in Quitman, Georgia. Georgia, you eat fried chicken with your hands. Don't use your forks on them. According to the law, chicken is a culinary delicacy that is holy to its municipality. This may be why there should be a law about safely transporting chicken. Chapter 8 says, "It is against the law for anyone who owns or has control over chickens, ducks, geese, or any other domestic fowl to let them run free on the streets or alleys of the city or the property of another person without that person's permission." It's a lot to say, and it's not as funny as the type of joke that comes to mind. Number 7. Radio stations in Canada have to play music by Canadian artists. There is a strong sense of nationalism among Canadians. Because of this, a legislation in Canada mandates that all radio stations play music by Canadian artists on the air at least 35% of the time, particularly between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. This implies that if you listen to the radio for 1 hour during the weekdays, you will hear more than 20 minutes of Canadian artists like Nickelback, Alanis Morissette, Celine Dion, Michael Bublé, and Justin Bieber. All of these artists are very happy to be Canadian. Number 6. It's illegal to run out of gas on the German Autobahn. Car fans and people who like to drive fast love to drive along the German Autobahn, known for changing speed limits that let drivers go faster than 100 miles per hour. But you could be fined a lot if you run out of gas. And don't even think about walking to a gas station. That will cost you another fine. Why? Germans think it's your responsibility to keep your car's gas tank full, so it's your fault if you run out of gas. Walking along a highway is dangerous, as is having your car break down on or near the road. Keep an eye on the gas level and fill up when it gets low. Number 5. In Milan, Italy, it's the law to smile always except at funerals and hospitals. A city regulation that dates back to the Austro-Hungarian era and was never changed mandates that it be done this way. Andrea Santangelo, a historian, recollects that Luigi Fabio was the one who initially proposed this rule. Anyone attending funerals, working in hospitals, or staying beside a sick family member was exempted from the requirement. There is no justification for being miserable for everyone else because the alternative is fine. Not that tourists who come to Milan, which they do in large numbers yearly, have much reason to be dissatisfied with the city's attractions or amenities. Number 4. It's illegal to wear high heels to the Acropolis. When preparing for a vacation to Greece, it is important to bring the appropriate footwear. Since Greece outlawed wearing high heels on the Acropolis in 2009, visitors to the Parthenon cannot be seen wearing stilettos. Although it is difficult to understand why anyone would want to undertake the journey through the ruins and dirt in heels, certainly it will be difficult to walk and will destroy the shoes. The Greeks placed this rule in place to safeguard their ruins from the damage that the pointy shoes would cause. When you visit the ruins, show some respect for their age by donning shoes with the soft soles, as they are around 2,500 years old. Number 3. It's illegal to pass wind in a public place after 6 p.m. on Thursdays in Florida. It used to be against the law to fart in Florida after 6 p.m. on a Thursday, but that law has long been forgotten. It was written in the 1800s, but Florida has never followed it. To begin with, it needs to be clarified why this was ever a law or a rumor of a law. But this is a good chance for a lawyer to be to practice their debating skills. See our tips for lawyers to be. The law says that it is illegal to annoy the community or corrupt the public morals, which are very open-ended statements that can be interpreted differently. Number 2. Don't wear your Winnie the Pooh t-shirt in Poland. The cute and fluffy little bear that is crammed full of fluff also, shock, does not put on any clothes. Because of this, Poland banned Winnie the Pooh in playgrounds and schools, finding the A.A. Milne character to be a bit too risque for sensitive children. When traveling to this country in Eastern Europe, it is probably best to leave your bear gear at home out of an abundance of caution. Number 1. It's a legal requirement to own a burial plot before you die in Sarporenx, France. The mayor of Sarporenx made a law that said people couldn't die in the city unless they had already bought a plot in a local parish cemetery. Those who broke this by dying without a plan would be severely punished. But what kind of punishment you give to the dead still needs to be clarified. The law was made because the mayor was told that his parish couldn't buy more land to increase the number of burial plots. Later, around the time of the next election, he apologized for any trouble this decision might have caused. Even though only 260 people live in the town, that doesn't make it any easier to predict your death. So that's all for today's video. If you like this video, click the like and the bell buttons. We'll have another video for you soon. Take care until then.